morning. Good morning. Good morning. I tell you, how are you? Good morning to each and every one of you. I am setting up a new uh, pad so I can go back to Instagram. But Lord Jesus, if I can figure this thing out, welcome to Mornings with Morples, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. Good morning, everyone. We have a lot to cover today, and I have a guest at 7 a.m., so I need to get to it. Yesterday, I attended a funeral of a dear friend, which elicited all of us to come together that have been friends with her since we were in our 20s. We're now almost 60 years old. So it was a reunion of sorts. And we, Pastor Waller eulogized her and talked about, what did we do with our lives? What have we done with our lives that actually touched people beyond just about being about ourselves? And so she was someone, Monique Udo, who loved on all of our children, loved on all of us. She went to Penn State to become an engineer, one of the first few Black engineers out there. And she just worked hard. And the men, especially, that got up and spoke about how she helped them in their careers and how she just never stopped supporting them. Monique has transitioned, and so off we go. We've now spoken about how we can maintain our relationships in her absence because she brought us all together. So there was that. I got to see my brain. I am exhausted. I got to see my godchildren who are now 33, 26, and 29. And I had a great conversation with them. So that was that. And then I got back from the funeral just long enough. I had a 30-minute break in between where I had to get ready for the filming of the viewing of the Ebony Canal. In May, Aliquiva was a filmmaker and director. He was in the audience last night. We had a panel discussion that was moderated by yours truly. The film, The Ebony Canal, is narrated by Viola Davis. And I was not stunned by what we saw in the film, but my feelings. I felt like, when are we going to, as people of color, be treated right within the medical system? That was the assumption that I was making, because it does happen. But then we had a panel discussion with 5 panelists. One of them was an OBGYN, and she said, listen, let me explain something to you. We're blaming the the provider. She said, but the way the system is set up, the hospital system, the insurance system, they tell them that they can only do 10 minutes per patient, literally. The way things are set up, the way insurance is set up, they're only allowed to spend 10 minutes per patient. So it's been really difficult. And she made me think, good morning, Debbie Womack. She made me think about, why is it that doctors rush us so, and why we need to have someone in the room with us when we have someone who is pregnant. Then there was Joel Austin, who Joel said, the DNA of that baby is my DNA too. There are things in my family bloodline. We need to speak to the men, make sure that when the fathers are in the room, that they're not invisible. All of those. It was such a good conversation. I have decided, and I asked Alexia Dumbaya. She and Nicole Keels Magruder were the 2 hosts of this event. It was fantastic. There were well over 200 people in the room. It was really done well. And the way they presented it made a huge difference to those who were sitting in the room. So I've decided, I asked Alexia if she could give me all the information to all the people that were on the panel, because I think you need to hear. I think this listening, viewing audience need to hear all that had to be said. So I asked Joel if we could do it, and then I asked Alexia this thing. But the one that struck me the hardest, that made perfect sense, was a doctor. And because my brain is exhausted, I mean, I've literally not slept in days, that got up and said, weathering, she said, when I asked her what were the issues around, why is it that Black women have such horrible Black maternal health care, aside from racism and everything else. She said weathering. Now, this is weathering. Weathering is the repeated exposure to socioeconomic adversity, political marginalization, racism, and perpetual discrimination that can harm health. What happens, she says, is as from the time we take our first breath out of the womb, we begin to experience weathering as Black women. So if a 14 or 15-year-old has a baby, that baby tends to have better outcomes than if we decide to get pregnant in our 20s and 30s, because by the time we get to that age, what is happening? We've experienced racism. We've experienced being marginalized. And so our bodies, all the things that our bodies would use to break down and create and to, have a healthy pregnancy and birth, has been affected by all the stress and discrimination that we've experienced up until the time we gave birth. It was the baddest conversation ever. Ever. And so I interviewed her once when I was on the radio. I'm going to interview this lady, Pettigrew, Dr. Pettigrew. I'm going to interview her again, and so we can have big conversations. The filmmaker from the Ebony Canal, I'm interviewing next week, so you'll get to hear his voice, get to talk to him. They're going to be on at Martha's Vineyard on August 2nd. The film is being shown there. They're saying Oscar worthy. It is fantastic. So I am grateful that I was asked to moderate, and I'm seriously just grateful to sit in the room. Absolutely grateful just to sit in the room and listen to all that had been taking place, and all the folks who had been working so tirelessly over the God knows how many decades. And then the woman who leads the health department in Philadelphia, that was one of her doctors that was sitting beside me on the panel discussion. So I'm working with the health department again to make sure we begin to have these conversations. We used to have the health department on once a month, and we would talk about the things that were impacting the folks in the city, any new diseases that were coming out, anything wonderful like new clinics, etc., new programs for folks to be a part of. So this thing was fantastic. And I mean, I left a little bit after 8 o'clock after I did the panel discussion, because I've been up since 4 and I knew I had to be up today. I have a long day for the next several days, so you all bear with me, my poor brain. When Dr. Archima, so I'm grateful. Thank you, Alexia and Nicole and all the partners that were part of all of this to make this a successful event. Last week, we interviewed Dr. Archima Major, and so many of you have since gone to her, and it's been life-changing. Dr. Archima I said to her, I could not sleep. And she says, order this cod liver oil, da-da-da-da-da. So the cod liver oil, the thing came yesterday. I'll fall asleep and then wake up 2 hours later. I took a half a teaspoon as she told me to, and I slept until 5 o'clock this morning. I jumped up and I said, oh my God, I'm going to be late. So Dr. Major, thank you so much. Because melatonin wasn't working. And she says, when we get into menopause, melatonin and those other things aren't working. And she didn't want us to take anything that was too harsh, So it was cod liver oil with a butter thing inside. She said, and it will clean your liver and make sure that you can sleep. I was like, yo. Oswald says, good morning, sister. Wish I could stay on. Good topic. Expecting my first grandchild in a few weeks. My son has been very involved. So I need you to stay tuned, Oswald, because when I tell you I'm going in with that conversation, I told every panelist I want to talk to them at least 30 minutes here on this show so we can have a longer dialogue, and then you can call in and ask questions, because my son went through something similar while his twins were being born. It's crazy the way they treat men in the system, right? And as if it's not their babies too. And as Joel says, I've seen breasts before. How do you think my wife got pregnant or my girlfriend got pregnant? So this was wonderful. All right, I'm going to move on because I have a doctor on at 7 o'clock this morning that I really want you to talk to and hear about. Let me open up this chat so that I can see what you are all saying. Good morning, everyone. I see. Woo. Good morning, Laverne, too. Oh, La Cuenta. Good morning. I see you. Oh, look at you. You guys are on here. I just had to get all of that stuff out. Bobby, Roslyn, too. Marguerite, good morning to all of you. Alexandra, good morning. Beatrice, you're all here. I see you. Fee. Oh, good morning, Viola. My goodness. Thank you. So we are doing a pop-up at for this merchandise at Duafe on Sunday, August 10th. I'll post that flyer tomorrow morning. It's just been a lot going on. um, August 10th from 12 to 4. It's amazing. It's just all the stuff, the merchandise that you asked for will be there to be sold so you can get it. Okay, so join me then. Plus, I'd love to see all of you. Duafe Hair Salon, 3129 22nd Street. We're going to have snacks, little snacks for you and tea and all the things. So I'm really looking forward to this. Um, Alexandra says, Marvel, the tea she prescribed for me is delicious. She's talking about Dr. Major, along with the grain bowl she directed me to eat. Dr. Major is about, impacting your bodies through healthy eating, healthy food, healthy lifestyle. So I'm grateful. I opened that thing last night when I got home. I was so tired I didn't drive into town to the Penn Museum. I took a car in and took a car back home, and I literally was falling asleep on the way in and falling asleep on the way out. Just exhausted. Laura says, everyone that enters the hospital needs an advocate, someone to be there to ask questions. Your better treatment comes when the staff sees someone is watching over you. Oh, good morning, Laverne. She says, I'm traveling to the Women Evolve conference, so I'm up on time today. Alexandra says, Morning family, never allow your doctor to rush you. They have a billing code for a 45-minute established patient visit that they may use. Woo! Tell the truth, Alexandra. Although doctors are being told that they really only have, this is not the first time I've heard that, they really only have 10 minutes per patient, and they have to see a certain amount of patients a day. And in order for them to see that certain amount of patients a day, they can only spend a few minutes with them. Viola says, the castor oil in the navel has helped my great-granddaughter with her bowel movements, 11 years of age. Yeah, castor oil is a beautiful thing. We had to take it as children growing up. Once a month, child, they brew this tea. Ugh. Not castor oil, cod liver oil. Good morning, Dennis. Cod liver oil is what I'm taking. Cod liver oil, I had to take cod liver oil and then this black tea, and we would get what they would call a washout every month. And my God, we were so nice and thin and delightful. And now we're just sitting around here, eating food and not getting the washout. So Dr. Major again has given me this thing that I take every 6 months, the capsules and the tea, and baby, my stomach just came right down. We're filled with baka. We're just absolutely filled. Before the doctor comes on, because it's now 6:45, I wanted to cover this because Black Jesus. And I never talk about this person. I try to stay out of having a conversation about this person, but here we are. Let me hold on 1 second, please. Hold on. I had to get a new iPad for my for Instagram, so I just loaded it up. Tomorrow morning you'll be able to see, right? Cheese and crackers. What is going on here? I don't want to do that. Okay, so let me do this because I need to read this to all of you. Okay. Dr. Umar Johnson, a figure known for stirring conversation with his unfiltered commentary, has once again become the center of attention. This time, he claims both his personal bank account and the account for his Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy had been frozen. Let me be clear. Maybe about 4 days ago, someone told me that this was happening. When I went online and looked, the first video that he put up absolutely compromised himself, because he said he was in Africa and went to get into the bank account for his his Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, and it was frozen. And so people started writing and saying, so you're taking personal money out of your business account? Oh, way to go. Now there's a new video that he put up that says his account was hacked. See, y'all got to be careful out here. That his account was hacked Because in the first video he was like he thinks mama somebody and father somebody got into his account and that they're going to be arrested and it's a federal offense. This morning I see something else, right? In a viral video, in this newest viral video, he explained that the discovery came as he responded to a text from a friend asking for financial assistance. Ironically, Johnson found himself in need of aid instead, the Root reports. For my loyal supporters out there, if you can spare a few dollars so I can take care of Queen Mother Ifantunde and myself until my bank account is frozen or canceled, so I can get my money back and open up a new account, please hit my Apple Pay or hit my PayPal, he says. He stated that the freeze followed a hacking attempt, and with his finances inaccessible, he is unsure how he'll manage bills during the bank's investigation into the alleged fraud. Despite Johnson's explanation, not everyone is convinced. Some question the logistics of his situation, particularly his lack of backup financial options. So someone wrote on TikTok, the Prince of Pan-Africanism trusts colonizers with all his money in cash, no money in an African bank, no credit cards, no family, no friends, nothing to pawn off, no emergency stash, no savings account. Even hacked, he can walk into a bank and extract cash in person, one Instagram user posted. Critics also pointed out the timing of his plea. Dr. Umar, you know damn well asking for money from black folks at the end of the month is an 80% no, a TikTok user commented. Despite the setback, Johnson remains optimistic. Although Leah's season is off to a rocky start, brothers and sisters, we will overcome, he said, signaling his determination to resolve the issue. I'm very concerned at this point about this man. Let me be transparent in saying the first time I met Umar Johnson was before he became Dr. Umar Johnson, and he was a therapist working on his PhD and going from school to school helping black boys. And when I met him, and listened to his conversation, I was quite impressed. And then all of a sudden, he got his doctorate. He says he got his doctorate, and then he began having these, what I would call weird experiences where he just was talking about all kinds of things. There are a lot of people that follow him because his basic premise about black children being educated in schools are okay, is on time, right? Is on target. But I don't understand this. This is Andrea. What people are intimating is that his accounts were frozen because of all the shenanigans that were going on with the school. I interviewed him almost 2 years ago on the radio station. And I said to him then, brother, when is the school opening in Delaware? He said, in the next couple of months, everything is laid out. He's ready to go. The video that I watched this morning said, oh, the school is almost ready to lay the floors. That school has not. We can't understand. So I think because of all the stuff that he's been talking about, he began to be investigated. I really believe he's being investigated. And if he is spending all that money, to traveling and doing what he's doing, and plus people pay him to come to their schools. They pay him to come to their conferences. I am not sure what's going on with him. But the fact that he put up 2 different videos within days of each other saying 2 separate things is only going to cause him more angst. I'm telling you, something is going on with this brother, and I don't know why. Then he began, oh my God, the things he would say about women and all the, oh my gosh, I don't watch him, but every once in a while somebody sends a thing to me about him, and I just don't get it, and I'm choosing my words carefully here because, again, until it is proven to be something. Until it's proven to be something, I don't want to cause a further issue for him. But I do believe something is going on here. And the fact that he is, because someone asked, if your bank accounts are frozen, you have credit cards. Do you not have credit cards for all the stuff that he has been doing? He doesn't have credit cards. He didn't. What is going on here? He didn't have some cash put aside, knowing all that he's talked about and what's going on, that these are the things that could happen to him. And then to come to social media asking for money. Who are his friends and family? That he never had to debase that, so he wouldn't have to debase himself coming and asking for money like this. Something is not, as my young people said, the math ain't mathing. So I need you all to just be very mindful about what's going on here. Let me see what's happening. Oops, you all are talking. My goodness. Let's see. Let me read what you're saying here. Tracy says, I believed, oh, you all are talking. I believed Dr. Umar about the school at first until he stated it was vandalism some months ago. He keeps pushing the goalposts for a school that should have been finished. And I do mean years ago. It's almost a decade now that he's just been talking about this school, right? And people have sent him money. People who have believed in the mission have sent him money. And so what's happening here? Has anyone been to the school? Has anyone seen inside the school? Where is it located? Has anyone been in there? Because something is going on. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay. Laura says, I just don't believe Umar. It makes no sense. A person of his status should, y'all are talking. A person of his status should have more options for finances. This stinks to high heaven. Good morning, Mary Elise May. You ought to talk. Woo! It's been 14 years? Oh my God. Oh, hell no. Yeah, I believe that something is going on there too. Let's see. Laura says, we need to realize that this man is a fraud of some sort. We can feel it in our guts. I have learned to trust mine. Cheryl says it's been almost 14 years now. Viola says Brian Stevens' school is open in Georgetown, Delaware. Oh, Viola, let me talk to me a little bit about that, right? Alexandra says that Laura Rones, he has been grifting. Wait. What is, hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm trying, it keeps moving. Andrea says, Mother, even a broken clock is right twice a day. He's all over the place until he's not, and then he's gone again. Laverne says, I agree, Marguerite. I think a lot of people fear the cost of care without insurance. I have to convince my son to get care with cash. She also says, I think Umar is being investigated too. It's like he's a panhandler. I used to really like him, but I'm disappointed. Yeah, it's a lot going on. Alexandra says that Laura, he's been grifting the Black community for the past couple of years. Roland Martin called him out with receipts guarding comments he said about Roland. Shaking my head. Laverne says the first place to call for help can't be social media. That's scary. Like, really, right? And he's, PayPal me and all this other stuff. Something is wrong here. Laverne says, I believed him too and donated. My sons were still in school when he was, wow. And your sons are adults now. Joanne says, I agree. Something isn't right. Something isn't right. And so, I am of the belief that we as human beings, because that's who we are, we will make mistakes in our lives and we will ask for forgiveness and we will work it through. But what have I always said to all of you? It doesn't matter how gifted you are. It doesn't matter how much school you've gone to. If your core values, if you don't treat people well, if you treat people like dirt, it doesn't matter how much money you have. My mama, rest her dearly departed soul, said, all the money in the world can't replace good manners and the way we treat people. She said, you must always treat people well wherever you go. She's absolutely correct. She's absolutely correct. This thing, I can't get this thing off my hand from last night. She's absolutely correct. And so when we walk around with our titles and, I'm this and I'm that and I'm powerful, power is fleeting. I was standing and talking to Dr. Ellen Jo Waller last night for quite a while. And I looked at her and I said, power is fleeting. And she jumped back and she said, absolutely, Andrea. And so when we sit around and talk about I am wonderful and I am this and I am that and I am that, humility is the thing that gets us to where we are. I watched Dr. Umar just puffing and pawning like a peacock for years. How do you work on a school for 14 years? Brian Stevenson has put up 2 museums and a school, plus some other things that he's done. What is happening here? And if he would say, all right, this is what's happening in the school, walk through the school, this is what's going on in the school. What school takes 14 years to build, especially since so many people, Black folk, have been sending him money, sending him their hard-earned dollars? So many people. So I believe this is going to turn on in some. And then he became cocky and nasty. Well, he didn't become cocky and nasty. That was always a part of who he was. So I've always said, look at people's core values. If you can't treat people well, if you don't know how to treat people well, if you think that people are beneath you and you cannot speak, and you have things to say, and you get all, you're preen and you act like a peacock, and I can't believe they're saying this about me. When someone tells you that they witnessed something or they feel something, and that people have been talking about it for years, take a listen, y'all. Take a listen. Don't preen. Stop and look at your behaviors and say, am I really doing that? For someone to say this, am I truly doing this? Right? Laura says a ton of black men influencers are dragging him. A man can see through a man. Andrea says Umar's been a fraud. He and Sean King are black internet's favorite grifters. Woo! Marguerite said, I know who he is, but never listened to any of his commentary. His aura vexes my spirit. Yep. And I've never wanted to hear anything he has to say. Yeah. I'll tell y'all one day about how he tried to pick me up in front of my husband. My husband can't stand him. Laura says his ex has been online dragging him and talking about the dirty house and the fact that he's not doing a good job of caring for his mother. Wow. See, y'all, what can I tell you? Be just. Whew. All right, Andrea, let it go. And I'm telling you, the more publicity you have, the more humble you are to be. The more humble you are to be. I don't understand when we are sitting around here, crazy, just acting a fool for no good reason. But that's because something missing. There's some trauma somewhere along the line. And as soon as he started to get, a little bit of power, and I know quite a few people like this. It's ridiculous. Right? Because we cannot exist in a vacuum by ourselves. And if we're sitting around talking about, I got my followers, I got my disciples. When you walk around and say, I've got my disciples that follow me and I'm going to be all right, you're in trouble. You're absolutely in trouble, because that's crazy. You have to have a level of humility. Beatrice says, in the news, over 200 of us seniors had to evacuate our apartment building last night due to a fire. For the second time, someone once went to shelters and some of us went with our families. Beatrice, I'll talk to you off the air about that so I can get a little bit of news. Diane Mapp said, I know people who swear by him. I scroll on like, what don't they see? Why can't they feel this energy I'm feeling? Right? It's insane. Let's see. If more than one person says you're off the hinges, you probably are, Joanne. When you have a sense of superiority, it's a cover for your feelings. Boom, 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 Joanne. When you have a sense of superiority, it's a cover for your feelings. Absolutely. Laverne says he used to be on point with his knowledge about the children. He has wisdom, but his disrespect and rudeness supersedes it all. Oh, I know another black man right here locally that behaves that way. Ridiculous. Butterfly says he was hustling the IEPs done for our families 10 plus years ago when he would copy and paste other children's results to submit an invoice that was fraudulent. Wow. Ooh, my Lord. Alexandra says, what? In front of Mr. Sanders? Where's my Vaseline and razor blades? Mr. Sanders can't handle himself, child. That was crazy. One day I'll tell you the story, not today. Beatrice, I'll talk to you about what's happened. As I think we've talked about your apartment building going on fire, the senior complex going on fire before. We need to figure it out. Is it who owns the building? Are you aware? I do believe I asked you that too. So let's do a little bit of investigation around that, right? And then we can talk about it. She said, this is the second time we've been displaced or had to evacuate the building. Yep. The first time was on June 24th. We did not go back into our apartment until July 3rd. And now here we are again out. What is causing this? Beatrice, are you aware? Yeah, I don't know. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Then it says it reminds you of Zips Cleaners. Oh, please. Let's not even discuss them. Just even saying their name makes me crazy. So here we are. I'm waiting for my guests to come in, and once that happens we can move forward. But yeah, it's been And I've been watching Dr. Umar, for a long, long time. And I just never said anything. But my God, somebody sent me a video last Saturday. I watched that video. It says, so and so and so was trying to get into my account, and it's a federal offense, and blah 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 blah. And all he kept talking about was the school bank account. Now, when he read all the comments that says, oh, so you're in the business account using it for your personal use, the video changed and it was something else entirely. It is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And so if we're watching, then you got to know the feds are watching too. I promise you. Right. But for years, he's been going through this and doing this and, taking on people and calling women all kinds of names. And just I said to myself, and so now he's talking about the money is for his personal account to help him and his mother. He's changed the tactic completely, which then tells you there's something absolutely wrong here. Something's absolutely wrong here. So yeah, there's that. Marguerite says, don't sleep on Mr. Sanders. He handles his business. He plays no games. He sure does not. I promise you. I promise you, he plays no games about his wife. And that is as it should be. All right. So it is now 7:02. While I wait for the doctor to come in, we will have a conversation. I'll do a little bit. Oh, let me also do this, because yesterday I was so busy I didn't have an opportunity until last night to post the video from season 3, episode 7, which is Tracy. It's called Funding the Future of Journalism. I spoke with Tracy Powell, founder of the Pivot Fund, about the critical need for funding in Black, Indigenous, people of color, media and grassroots journalism. The Pivot Fund invests in independent community news organizations that serves communities historically overlooked by mainstream media. She then discussed the challenges faced by traditional journalism, the importance of trust in media, and the role of philanthropy in supporting underrepresented communities. She shares her journey into journalism and philanthropy, the criteria for funding through the Pivot Fund, and how citizens can support local journalism. The conversation emphasizes the power of information and community action in driving change. She's a bad sister. I need you all to take a look. There was a part of a snippet that was posted last night on my page. And it's on the A.Lawful Truth page too. So take a look. I see some people have been responding to it. Go visit it if you ever want to become a journalist, or if you're in journalism right now and can't figure out what is going on and what you need to do, you can go from there. Okay. Let me just double check. To make sure. Yeah. Dr. Nichelle should be on at 7 o'clock. So I'm hoping that I talked to her again on the radio station some months ago and just thought she was phenomenal. It's a Black pediatrician in the Abington area, and she is just phenomenal. Her last name is Adebete Maraventano. Adebete Maraventano. So it's Dr. Nichelle Adebete Maraventano. So that's her name. She's working on the Stamping Out Hunger. She's renowned for her commitment to holistic pediatric care and social consciousness. I liked her so much because she reminds me so much of Dr. Major. She is from, she's grown up. Let me just say, she was born at Einstein Medical Center and claims both Philly and Abington as her stomping grounds. And so she's a holistic doctor that sees all sides of the child, from nutrition to everything else. And so I want her to come back on so we can talk about what's happening as children are getting ready to go back to school in the next few weeks. What do we need to know? What testing do they need to have in order to get into school? Because every year children have to go through something else. So let's see. I don't see. Okay. I don't know what happened to her. Hold on one second. She sent an email. Andrea. The link should be attached. Hold on, y'all. This is live radio, and sometimes it works there. Oh, resend. All right. Let me See, Black Jesus, always something going on in these Wakanda streets, and I have to be at the gym, so I have to get off of here at 7:30. Plus, I have another sister who is going through some seriousness, and I want to make sure that I have the information before I bring her on the air to address all of you. Hold on one second. Let me send the link to Dr. Nichelle. Hopefully, she'll be able to get in now. All right. So there's that. So we're waiting. Oh, my poor doctor. Let me see what's happening here. Viola, I haven't had a chance to have the greens yet. I see them. My husband got them, but I have not had a chance to have them yet. And believe me, I'm trying to find a day. It is now Wednesday. I've been pulling 16, 18-hour days for the last several days, so I've not been able to have them yet. But I promise you, it will be had. Beatrice says on the second floor, there's a transformer or a circular box on fire again. It's owned by Michael's Corporation in New Jersey, based in Camden, I believe. Okay, all right. So it's a transformer that keeps blowing, according to Beatrice. So yeah, well, all right. We will take a look at this, and we'll ask some questions. Joanne says, "I know Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey are rolling in their graves." Alexandra says, "Lately they're talking about Umar Johnson." Alexandra says, "Lately he's been trying to be the next Kevin Samuels." You know what happened to Kevin Samuels? Okay, here we go. I need us as a community to help with the healing and the trauma of so many of not just women, but our men. It exacerbates itself and turns into stuff like this, right? As this one dude that people keep calling him and go, he keeps treating people horribly and looking at them like they're crazy and hanging up on them and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, there's some trauma there. There has to be some trauma there, that you believe that you're in such a position, a place of high position, that you can treat people well. Last night, I ran into someone, poor thing. First time he saw me, he shivered. I watched him physically shiver. Now he walks in last night and someone says to me, he's deliberately not trying to look in your direction. I said, yeah, because he's guilty. And he knows. You got to be careful about the way you treat people. Got to be careful about the way you treat people. All right. And in my entire life, I've never sued anyone. This one is getting ready to be sued. Just hold on. You all just hold on. And probably feels very comfortable because they're like, oh, a year has gone by and nothing has happened. We're going to be all right. We'll be all right. So, all right, here's Dr. Nichelle. Good morning.
Good morning.
Had a hard time getting in here, huh?
I know, I'm tardy, but I'm ready to party. Let's go. I apologize. I was like,
no
different link. Anyway.
Okay. Dr. Nichelle Adebete Maraventano. Did I get that right?
Yes, it sounds lovely.
MD is a distinguished pediatrician and an alumni of George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences in DC. I talked a little bit about you and that I had interviewed you before. Yes. You've done an excellent job. And so now you're back on. Oh, let me tell you, the black folks were like, where is she?
Sorry. I'm here, folks. I'm here.
That's so funny. So the topic of conversation is young people getting their physicals before going back to school.
Yes.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Your husband has been fantastic about emailing and making sure he connects with Niall.
He just hooked me up. We were having a little bit of difficulty. He came in. He was like, "What's going on?" Send an email. Do this. He is my PR.
Yes, he is, and he does a fantastic job of being your PR. Okay. Yes. Let's have our conversation this morning.
Sure.
You are a pediatrician in Abington.
Yes, I am. Yes. Uh-huh.
And the last time we looked, you were black. So
I'm still black. I'm a little bit blacker because of the sunshine. I got my vitamin D going.
Yes. And vitamin D is absolutely important. Yes. And when I interviewed you the first time, there were tons of people going, I need to find her. Did they find you?
Yes, some people did actually find me. I'm hoping that more folks find me. Like I said, one of the things about opening up a brand new practice is increasing access to care. So
yes.
We have plenty of visits. Sorry, having a little camera difficulty. We have plenty of visits that are available. You can get same day visits.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're not even, we're
You're not full yet.
not full yet. So
Okay.
everybody's very eager and excited. I
Mhm,
have a great team. They all
mhm,
believe in what we're doing, and
mhm,
especially with this upcoming school year, just kind of bringing it back,
mhm,
knowing that folks often have difficulty with getting PIAA forms. I've already
mhm,
started on patients who are coming in, making sure that, hey, for the school year, if we can clear you, we clear you. If you
mhm,
need to go see the specialist, like the cardiology, because of your
mhm,
family history or whatever,
mhm,
let's get that done during the summer so we're not disrupting the school year.
mhm,
And then see, what sports we can clear you for.
mhm.
There's a lot of misconception with regards to, even patients who may have some restrictions. It doesn't necessarily mean that all sports are off limits. Oftentimes, even people who have cardiomyopathy, we still want them to be able to exercise in a way that's safe because obesity is not good for
Can you
anybody.
describe what cardiomyopathy is?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yes, every now and then one of those words just jumps out my mouth. Um, specifically with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM, is what we're really, one of the things that we're very concerned about, in addition to dysrhythmias or whatever. But you get a thickening of the wall in the lower chambers of the heart that separate the right ventricle from the left ventricle, and sometimes as the heart is pumping, you can imagine that if there's enough thickening, it can basically obstruct the outflow track of the blood flowing through the aorta, right through the
Wow.
mitral valve and aorta, in order to supply the heart muscle, right, the heart muscle in the body. And so, what people don't realize is that um, your heart doesn't get its blood support from the blood that is actually in the ventricles. It does
Mhm,
have to go out to these smaller blood vessels, and when you have outflow obstruction and your heart is beating faster because of sports or activities that you're doing,
um,
you don't have enough blood flow, and that's what leads to the sudden death. So,
but Dr. Michelle, what
yes.
causes that? Because they're children.
Yeah, so there's genetics around it for
Okay.
sure. And so, one of the things that we look at is, do you have any, family members, a mother or a father or some
Mhm,
other family members who
mhm.
have unexpectedly died, right?
Uh-oh.
Or have had early death before the age of 50, due to cardiac reasons, right? Sometimes, we even just word it from the standpoint of unexpected death because, you know, we don't often know,
Right.
exactly
The
why
history.
the
Right.
history has happened. But if someone's
Mhm,
dying before the age of 50, that's
mhm.
definitely a higher risk for people because, again, getting back to the genetics of this, if you have a family member that has died before the age of 50, there's more likely going to be some cardiac complications or
Wow.
cardiac history in the family genetically, which is why it's so important to have these conversations with family
Mhm.
members so that kids know what their history is, and not withholding this information from family members.
Yeah. Dr. Michelle, this
Yes.
so ties into an event that I went to last night
Hmm.
about Black maternal health. And there was a Black man on the panel, Joel, who
Hmm.
said he doesn't understand why doctors won't speak to the fathers in the maternity as the mom is going through the pregnancy. Because to him, he said, listen, I'm allergic to strawberries.
Hmm.
There may be the child may be allergic to strawberries. We
Hmm.
need to talk to fathers too about the whole family history, and I'm noticing that that's not happening as often as it should. Do you
Yeah.
do that, the family history from both sides, all the way to
Oh,
grandparents?
Absolutely. So, I always encourage family members to come in together to have the discussion. Sometimes that's not always possible. I've had
Mhm,
fathers bring in patients, I've had moms bring in patients, I've had grandparents, I've had aunts, cousins, uncles,
mhm,
everybody.
mhm,
Um, that first visit really should be the primary parents, if possible, right? I mean, we have
mhm,
all different varieties of families,
mhm,
but one of the reasons is because of the fact of the family history. All of my patients have access to their EHR system and their record, so they can readily go on to that system and upload any new information that they have about their family history. And I'm not unique in that. Most
mhm,
providers do provide that,
mhm.
but I definitely go over it more thoroughly, especially
Mhm.
when it comes to these PIAA forms.
Forms, yes.
There's about like 50 questions there
Mhm,
asking about family history, personal history for the patient
mhm,
as it
mhm,
pertains to exercise. And that questionnaire really is important to really get a better eye sense and idea of who's
mhm,
at risk
mhm.
versus those patients who were able to readily clear for sports activities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marguerite says, we must have conversations about our children and family, about our health. People are so hush hush. It's true.
Yeah.
Particularly in, I don't know if it's, if you see the difference in our community versus other communities,
Oh,
but in that,
absolutely.
oh, you see the
Yeah.
difference.
Oh, absolutely. It's I have this thing about there's two things, health and wealth, right? You can't
Mhm,
have one without the other, right?
mhm,
And there are so many things about our community that tends to be taboo, right? So health is just one of those things. And I think that historically it has been passed down to kind of keep these things. I mean, whether you're talking about mental health or physical
yeah.
health or
Mhm,
whatever, we've taught to like keep it pushing
mhm,
and don't have these discussions about things
mhm,
that we
mhm.
need to have discussions about because oftentimes it's the secrets that are killing us.
Right, right. So,
Mhm.
um, thalassemia trait, sickle cell trait.
Yes,
Uh,
G6PD,
Come on.
anemia,
Yes,
all of
all
it.
the things
Yes, all
that
the
run through
things.
our
Yes.
families.
Uh-huh.
Onset diabetes for young children that has happened
Yes,
in the family, early on in the family. Yes,
pre-diabetes, obesity,
yes,
hypertension,
all of it.
all of it. Renal issues, renal
Renal failure,
failure.
right? And because
Yes. Mhm.
Dr. Nichelle, when we go to copulate, and because
Mhm.
it only takes 30 seconds to make a baby, y'all
Yes,
end up
how
having
about
yourselves a
and sometimes less
wonderful
than
time.
that.
Less than
Yeah.
that, right? So they're doing all of that.
Yeah.
Is it important? And this is a rhetorical question. Is
Mhm.
it important that when we fall in love with someone and decides that we want to create a family, that we sit down and talk about the family history before we start
Mhm.
trying to have a child? Because when you put all those DNA molecules together, then we're crying. I'm just saying. I'm trying to say this in a
Yeah.
way,
No, I
right,
no, I
right,
see you. I
right,
see you. I
right.
feel you.
Um,
Yes.
when we put all of that together and the child comes out and it has this going on and that going on and we're wailing, we could have, mitigated some of that by having the conversation up front. Am I
I
making
think that,
sense?
yeah, you are making sense. I mean, we used to, it used to be that when you knew you carried the sickle cell trait, your mother or your father or family would be
Mhm,
like, be very careful if you
mhm,
get involved with somebody who also has a sickle cell trait or
right.
has sickle cell disease.
Mhm.
I don't think we're having these conversations anymore. But at the same time, I'll say that
Faithfully.
people fall in love who they fall in love with, right? I mean, there's something to be said for, a loving, compassionate partner who just happens to have, the
Right.
sickle cell trait. You're not
Right.
going to be like, oh, I can't be with you because I have it
Right.
too. But it
But you
is
know what you're
important.
walking into,
Yes, but
right?
it is
Right.
important to have the conversation. So you say,
Mhm.
okay, in that
Mhm.
situation, there's a 25% chance a 1 in 4 chance that we
Mhm.
could have a child that has sickle cell disease.
Right.
And what does that mean?
Mhm.
What does that mean? Moving forward,
Mhm.
and whether or not we want to conceive in this way, or
Mhm.
what have you. So I do think that even more important than things like sickle cell,
Mhm.
we can talk about the fact that even knowing who your relatives are, right? So
Yeah.
that's also a very important thing as well.
Mhm.
And there's not a lot of communication between
Mhm.
amongst families about children that have
Mhm.
been born out of wedlock, or children
Right.
who have been hidden,
Right. Ooh,
and
child.
have,
And
yeah.
then you go to school and you fall in love with such and such,
Yes,
and
and
you
it's
know
your
such and
first
such is your
cousin,
brother,
and
or your
it's your
brother,
yes,
or
or
your
your
sister.
brother or your
Yes.
sister, or
Yeah.
yeah, all of those
Yeah.
things.
We keep a
Yep.
lot of secrets in our Black community, and I'm hoping
Yes.
through this platform we can begin to debunk some of this stuff so we can save ourselves. So I remember saying to my sons when they were old enough to listen and learn,
Hmm.
hypertension runs in both sides of the family. There's a
Yes.
1 in 4% chance that one of you will be diagnosed. I
Yeah.
am so grateful I did it because my youngest son, when he was 20, began getting hypertension. His nose started to bleed, da 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 da. He
Yeah.
walked into the doctor's office and says, "My mother is hypertensive, my father is hypertensive, my grandfather's hyper." And the doctor was like, "Oh, wait, okay, let's go figure out something."
Right.
So
It
at
changes the
29,
conversation.
right,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
right. So at 29, he's saving his kidneys, he's saving his arteries. He is, because he began taking the medication. He works out all the time. He's following my regimen,
Absolutely.
actually,
Right.
right?
Oh,
What
good for okay.
he eats
Hmm.
cleanly. He works out, and his
Hmm.
blood pressure has been fine, right?
Yeah.
So every so often I say to him, "Are you taking your medication?" He said, "Mommy, I'm watching you. I'm following your lead." But if we
Good.
don't talk about these things,
Yeah.
if it's a big secret that I'm hypertensive, if it's a
Hmm.
big secret that that type 2 diabetes runs in the family, if it's a big secret that
Hmm.
heart disease runs in the family, like you have to talk about these things. And
No,
so, yes, Black people, I'm
absolutely.
talking to you. White folk have seem to have figured it out. We need to have the conversations, right? About
Yeah.
what that
No,
looks like.
yeah, like, oh, somebody in my family took a pill for something, and like, well, what was the pill? Like, what did they
Right,
take? Like, what,
right.
you saw them taking medication. Let's have these conversations
Yeah,
about what is it?
yeah.
Like, let's not just, and I think there's some secrecy and shame about needing help,
Yes, what
in
is that?
general. And I think that, you know, there's no awards or trophies that are going to be given out for who can keep the best secrets. And and yeah, exactly. There's no winning in that. We don't
Yeah.
win in that. We don't.
Yeah, Donette says it's really challenging if someone is adopted because they do not have access to their birth family history.
Yeah.
What would you suggest to someone for someone like that who's been adopted and don't
Yeah.
have the history?
Yeah, so I think that if we're talking about an adult who is older now, and who was previously adopted and doesn't have history,
Mhm.
then I think that it's all the more important to go to those preventative visits,
Mhm.
because a lot of the screenings that we do, whether it be mammogram, whether it be colonoscopies, which, by the way, now you can get at age 40, and
Oh,
it's recommended, yes.
mhm. Okay,
So
good.
yeah, um, those are going to be key for you, right?
Okay.
Listening to your body, listening to your sense of intuition,
Mhm.
knowing that there may be some history there that you are not aware of. It becomes
Mhm.
all the more important. I mean, everybody should be participating in preventative medicine in general, but even
Mhm.
more so for those who do not know their history. For children, we often are faced with that as well as pediatricians. And so, really paying attention to even the slightest, symptoms that a child has, and really kind of going through those seven, dimensions of whatever that, symptom is. Like, when is it happening? How often is it happening? Where is it happening? Like, all the questions that we go through.
Mhm.
And then keeping logs of things too, right? Like,
Yes.
that is so paramount. Like, if you
Mhm.
notice something is happening, and it feels different to you, or your child is coming and complaining about headaches and things of that nature, like
Mhm.
knowing when is it happening, what it makes it worse, what makes it
Mhm.
better, where is it, is it frontal, is it global, is it
Mhm.
pulsating, is it, and so oftentimes like these kids can really explain it. And then when you come to the doctor's office for your visit and you bring those questions and concerns with you, we know how to do the focus, right?
Mhm.
But it's just about, I will say this in general, like a nephrologist that when I was at GW and a teacher, basic professor for nephrology said, 99% of our diagnoses comes from listening. It's only that like 0.1%, that's outside of that, with
Mhm.
labs and things of that nature, either confirming or disproving your theory. But you're always working with a differential that you can go back to. But 99% of that is listening. So if we're doing
Right.
more talking than listening, right? You don't want your provider in the time that they're spending time with you to do more talking than listening.
Mhm. Dr. Nichelle, Tria Jones just said that those children that are going into kindergarten needs a full evaluation too.
Absolutely,
Can
absolutely.
can you tell people how to find you?
Yes. So you can find me via www.peds, P-E-D-S, 360plus.com. We are located at 361 Highland Avenue, Suite 206.
Mhm.
You would do better to find us by using Glenside, PA, even though
Yes.
we're in Jenkintown, PA.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the zip is 19046
Mhm.
2632. We're
Mhm.
right by LA Fitness.
I know
Um,
exactly where you are.
yeah, on the
I know the
second
building.
floor.
Mhm.
You can go onto our website. There is a red button that says Patient Portal. You can register as a new patient and schedule your appointment
On the
through that
website.
on that website.
But Dr.
And
Michelle, you know
yes,
our people. They're not gonna
I
go
know,
on the portal. So
I
what's the
know.
phone number?
Yes. So, 267
Mhm.
594
Mhm.
8734.
Mhm.
Yep. And then if you want to follow me on Instagram too, you can do that.
Oh, oh, look
So
at you.
I know, right? I'm growing up. It's at underscore peds 360 plus, and there's some fun videos and stuff like that on there
Okay,
too.
good. So it's at underscore
Yes, peds
P
360.
PEDS 360 plus.
Yes, and the
Okay.
plus is spelled out, PLUS.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, thank you for letting me know that.
Sorry
All
about that.
right, no
Yes.
worries. All right. Plus. Okay. All right. So that's wonderful. Thank you. I think I'd like to talk to you more often. Tell your husband
Uh-huh.
to send a message to my producer at
Okay.
least every quarter so we can have
Okay.
conversations about what's going on with our young people. What do they need to know, especially if something is happening in terms of a new virus, and we need to know about it.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
I'd love to have you
Absolutely.
on so we
Yeah.
can talk about it because one of the things that we have said, particularly last night and many, many days, I interviewed quite a few Black doctors because I was like, listen,
Hmm.
I know us. I know
Yes.
how we feel. But when we go to doctors and we feel unheard and then we walk away and we don't go back, much to
Hmm.
our own detriment because we're not hurting the
Yes.
providers, we're hurting ourselves. So I'm
Yes,
trying to
absolutely.
find doctors, providers that we trust,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That will help us to navigate and go through what we need to. I had Dr. Archer Major on last week, an eye doctor, who says
Hmm.
80% of your diagnosis can be seen through your eye, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
she, so I would love for you to connect with her, and I'm going
Yeah.
to pull all of you together.
I
Just to
love
make
that.
sure we can have that conversation. So, the babies, because she got a lot of babies too, with
Okay.
the
Yeah.
stigma,
Hmm.
stigmatization of the eyes, all of those
Yeah.
things and
Hmm.
if you're the kind of pediatrician that's going to do the holistic 360 care, then she
Yes.
would just automatically send them to you because she knows
And
you'll
I
take
would
care of the
send her my
testing.
eye babies to her
Yes.
too, because
Oh,
yeah, we do script.
say less,
Yes.
Dr. Nichelle. I'm about to make that connection because
I
I
love
do
it.
believe it works, right?
Yes, it
So
does. It
let's
does.
do what we need to do to save ourselves, save our lives, save our children, and go get your forms done. Go get your
Yes, your
medical forms.
PIAA
Yeah.
forms, get your child health report forms.
Yes.
Let's make sure that we are shored up before school starts and
Mhm.
address any, issues or concerns that we
Mhm.
have before school starts, and we're
Mhm.
disrupting education, right? We don't want to do that. We want
Yeah.
to start the ground running,
Mhm.
be ready at the end of August for all the
Mhm.
things. So
Mhm.
vaccines, anything that you need to get
Right.
done, let's do it.
And August 1st is on Friday, y'all. So the clock is ticking. If you
Mm-hmm.
know you need to go get those forms filled out, if you know you have a
Mm-hmm.
young child getting ready to kindergarten, getting ready to start school, make sure 267-594-8734. And
Yep.
then when they send you to the website, then you go do what you're supposed to do. Go
Yep.
get your children's physicals done. Don't wait until September 5th. Oh, my Lord, I done forgot. If you
You
can't do it, if you can't do it, ask a family member to do it for you.
absolutely, absolutely. But that first visit would like to see the parents.
Oh, well,
Mm-hmm.
so she has said it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm. Yes, I just
mama, dad,
mm-hmm.
and before you come in, start to ask your partner about the family history.
Yes, so that you know when we talk.
Yes,
Yes,
right.
absolutely. That
Yeah,
would be great.
it both can
Um,
come in.
I also just want to briefly note August 11th and August 25th. I am inviting, uh, daycare owners and school providers, nurses, principals, counselors to come in and experience an open house
Oh, wow.
specifically geared towards them. So I know you're connected. I'm going to send you some email invites just in case there are
Okay,
people who are interested and reach out
okay,
to you
okay.
because we really need to get our community together with regards to getting a plan for this school year.
Yeah, yeah. And do you address mental health issues in small children? Because I see a
Absolutely.
lot of it.
Absolutely. We do
2 and
play
3 year olds flying
therapy.
off the
We
wall.
have,
What is
yes,
happening?
all of the things. Yes. So, and maybe that's what our next segment should be about, like
Yes,
mental health, really
yes.
focusing on mental health and the
Hmm.
stressors that children face now. There's a big disconnect between, our generation and
Yes.
the younger generation,
Yep.
and the impact of electronics and cell phones and social media, and how to navigate that, in a way that's appropriate without
Okay.
alienating the child socially. Yeah, we definitely can talk
So
about that.
you need to come back on next week for that because
Okay,
school's
all
getting
right.
ready to start. Tell your
Okay,
husband, reach out to the producer, and then we can and what the topic of conversation is.
okay.
Because I'm telling you, I'm seeing things that's frightening me for
Oh
young
yeah.
children, and I do believe it's the FaceTime that we're having with
Oh,
the
absolutely.
electronics consistently. Now it impacts their eyes, it impacts their brains, it impacts everything.
it's
So we
it's
just
it's
have to be careful.
remodeling their brains. It's not just
Yes.
impacting, it's remodeling their
Okay,
brains.
next week it is.
Okay.
Let's see
Sounds
if we
good
can
to
find
me.
a space. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Dr. Nichelle. Thank you
All right,
so
thank
much.
you.
See you
Thank you.
soon, okay?
All right,
All
sounds
right.
good. Be
All right.
blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh my goodness. So we are getting ready to end this segment. I have lots going on again today. And with Dr. Nichelle just being on for she's a pediatrician, but for those of us who are adults and we're in our 30s and 40s and the colonoscopies, the breast exams, the OBGYN visits, there's a rise in endometrial cancer that just popped up in my thing 2 days ago, saying that uterine cancer is becoming a thing, and that there are two different kinds, the one that's in the endometrial lining, or the one that attacks the muscles, which is called leiomyosarcoma, which is the cancer that my friend Margaret has, and that it's impacting a lot of Black women disproportionately. So if you feel different, if you make sure you have a marker where you're going every year to see the OBGYN, and if something feels off, menopause, whatever it is, go and get yourselves examined and checked out so that you can stop. If you, let's say, God forbid, you end up with cancer, but it's stage 1 and you don't need to do anything other than to remove the uterus, then you're good. But if you sit around and you're feeling the symptoms and you don't go, and then all of a sudden there's bleeding and all sorts of other things, then that's a different story. If you do not have health insurance, I am talking specifically now about the city of Philadelphia. There are at least 10 clinics that we need to utilize. on a sliding scale. If you can afford to pay, you can. If you can't, you can't. Same thing with the dentist. I'm seeing a lot of people with teeth that needs to be scaled. Your gums, your teeth and your gums directly impact your heart because of the bacteria that's underneath your gums. You don't have to have money to go to a dentist. If you're afraid to go, take someone with you. There's some dentists who will put you asleep or give you the laughing gas or whatever it is, so you don't feel anything. You don't feel the anxiety. So I'm asking you all, please take better care of yourselves. Please, I'm begging you, because we got one body. No matter how much money you have, if you don't have your health, you have absolutely nothing. I promise you. All right, I got to make a phone call. I got to go to the gym. We're working it out. This episode of Mornings with Mother is officially over. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye. Alexandra says Jefferson offers charity care for the insured. I don't know what that is. Is that uninsured or the insured? All right, we got to go. Bye, everybody. Bye, darlings. Bye.